All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guy. With flipping ain't easy by your side.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna. She took a phone call right before we were supposed to start, so she stepped away. But we're here with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and hopefully you guys had a great week. Ours, again, you know, hell, I mean, from one week to the next, our week is pretty much the same. I mean, we're just solid grind mode like every day, and doing a lot of research, trying to come up with topics sometimes for this live to keep things fresh. I guess we could talk about the latest AI development, but I don't want to do that because I think, and this is a question I have for you guys, and it was going to be the topic of the live, but want to ask you guys and want you to think about this. Have we reached the stage of AI burnout?
Yes.
Are we just done with it already?
Hi, guys.
Now, that said, there's some AI involved in this live stream. Wanted to give a shout out to Dave Harrington. He reached out and he's putting his channel together, and he's going to do some AI related things with music and stuff, and he's going to have a little bit of fun with it, and we're going to have the outro will be a little take on something he's put together for you guys, a little shout out for his channel. So stick around to the end of the show, and you get a chance to hear it. I'm not into that music, but I know some of you guys are, and it's something that I think he did a lot of work on, and he's pretty happy with. So
I like it.
And it's eBay related and all that stuff, so you guys will like it. But the topic at hand is, I mean, is it just me, or does it seem like, and this is just me observing it, but does it just seems like right now or lately that eBay's policies are just way convoluted to the point where it's almost, it feels like it's just intentionally misleading. And I don't even want to say misleading. I just want to, not vague ain't the right word, but it's intentionally confusing to where they say what they say and they mean what they say, but they say it in a way that people look at it and go, what? So I reference the change that's coming to our UK, Australia, Italian, France, and Spain sellers on eBay, who on the 24th are going to have a little change to their promoted listings. And we kind of talked about this in the June update as to what's coming up. But the 24th, they're going to get a change, and that change is a change to promoted listings, general ads, attribution. Now, what does all that mean? Well, the attribution policy basically says that if somebody, and I got this wrong when it first came out. That's what I'm saying. It's so confusing. It's easy to screw this up. But I had a conversation with my, what do we name him? I'll just call him Jeff, our AI buddy.
Oh.
I don't want to call him Grok because people get pissed off about that.
Who cares?
I do. So next time you ask me who cares, I'll just say I do. So now you know the answer to that. So, but I do. Okay. So as long as I care, that's all that matters. So back to what I was trying to say. Had a conversation with AI, and AI just saying, look, decipher this damn policy for me, because why are people messaging me now? Okay. Let's see what happens when people text me in the middle of a thought. It just goes away. Okay, so it's trying to figure out what exactly does this policy do. Now, you might ask me, John, why do you care what happens to the folks in UK, Australia, France, Italy, Spain? Because they're kind of a testing ground, and what works there for eBay will be then passed on to us. I promise you that. So it's seeing the potholes out on the road and trying to navigate around them, or understanding that as we make our journey through the eBay highway system. And so for me, it is understanding what the heck is going on with that. Now, I was wrong in saying that Okay, my thought was if someone pulls up a best match search and your item comes up somewhere as an impression within that search and they click on Joe Blow's listing, then you're going to be charged a promoted listing fee if somebody later comes on and buys that item. That was incorrect, and the way it read to me was that, and it's not that. It's if somebody goes into your ad, meaning that I got this hat, right? I have it for sale, and somebody goes in and clicks on the ad, and they're like, they look at the listing, they click away for whatever reason, and then some other unrelated person comes in through an organic link to this very hat where I would not normally be charged a promoted listing fee, because somebody already looked at it in the last 30 days. They're going to get hit. You're going to get hit with this fee because of that. Now, that's what's coming to the folks in Europe and Australia in 4 days. So just know that. Now, it's, in my opinion, it's just the quest where eBay is trying to find ways to get more money off of sales. And there's way too many organic sales right now, guys. That's what's happening. So how do they increase the revenues? Well, that's just another way. It's shrinking the number of organic sales. And I guess it's, if you don't promote, I mean, this is not affecting you, but it just makes me wonder, at what point does eBay look at it and say, you know, those people over there, they're not paying enough. They're refusing to promote, so maybe we have to do something else. And you guys know what that something else is. I won't give eBay any ideas, but I'll let you imagine what I'm thinking. So it's just kind of the way it is when you're selling on eBay. And I guess the concern that I was looking at on this value added resource article was the verbiage that this Patricia, who had messaged Liz Morton, says, just saw from eBay US promoted listings ad campaign setup screen desktop. The ad rate is the percentage of an item's total sale amount that is charged when the promoted item sells within 30 days of a click on your ad. Any click? And that is what it's saying right now for US folks, even though this change is really only supposed to happen for the Australian and European folks. And then, of course, apparently this was looked into. Reps were involved at eBay, and they couldn't answer the question. So I guess it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on, in lieu of the fact that, you know, eBay kind of went back from some sellers 2-3 weeks ago, and we're taking fees retroactively, you know, promoted listing fees. And it's like, wait, what? Why are you taking promoted listing fees? So just being creative in trying to find ways to get more money out of us is kind of what it seems. But this is just an observation. I am in no way complaining. I'm staying on the platform. I'm not leaving the platform. But to operate on the platform in sheer ignorance of what's going on around you, I think, is probably the worst business decision you could ever make, because you know, if it allows you to understand the game. If you're playing a game, I mean, you don't expect to win if you don't know the rules. So I think it's very important. And I like I said, it almost feels like eBay is being intentionally vague on how this rolls out, or I mean, how the rules are supposed to be. And it's very easy for someone like me who studies this to get it wrong and to totally screw up. So I want to know your thoughts on that. And it's all quite confusing, that's for sure.
Pamela, Honor Squat, she says, huh?
It's just crazy. So again, for you, those in Australia and in Europe, what's going to end up happening is you have this hat. Somebody clicks on your listing for this hat. They don't buy it, and it creates a halo effect for anyone else to go onto your hat listing. Maybe you're promoting it through your social media, or they click on it through a Google ad search. That it's a totally organic, non-promoted way to find your item. And in the past, you wouldn't have to pay the promoted fees for that. Now, because of somebody who did click on that listing when it was promoted through a promoted listing link, then everyone else has it triggers that for everyone else. That makes sense. I don't know. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense now. But so you're saying that eBay is it's announced for UK and all the other countries, but for us, it's not supposed to
For
be.
not, it's just now. That's not to say the halo. When the halo is not my angels. I mean, we're not talking about my angels right now. We're talking about if Jenna decides to go and take a look at my hat, and then she clicks away and says, "No, I'm not going to buy that hat." I then take all my hats off of promoted listings. I'm not promoting my hats no more. Okay, or I change it to a lower rate. She comes back within 30 days and buys the hat. Well, it's going to be based on the promoted listing rate that when she first clicked on my listing is what I'm going to have to pay. That's the halo. That's what we all have to deal with right now. What eBay is introducing is some random person we don't even know, maybe even a seller who's doing research on listing their own items, clicks on my hat, and then somebody later on goes in and clicks on a organic link to my hat. I'm going to be charged that
And
fee.
that really sucks because there's times where I'll be on eBay looking for something and I accidentally click on a listing that I wasn't trying to look at, but I wanted the one before or the one below it, and I quickly close out of it, obviously, and I go to the one that I want because I noticed what I did. So it sucks for those people because I actually did go into that listing, not by choice, but by accident, and so that sucks.
You know, it's there's no actual metric for this, but sort of increases the importance of, I'll take a call center saying here, first call resolution, first click resolution, where that first click, how many times do you get the sale out of that first click, and how can you improve getting the conversion right away so that, whatever, just get it out of here. Brenda is with us today. Happy Friday, everyone. Getting ready for the heat wave. Nobody claimed to be first, so we're going to say it's Brenda today.
Brenda is first.
John Gaynor says, hi, everyone.
Hi,
nice to see you.
John.
And Mike Metco says, hi, John and Jenna and FA family. I hope everyone has a productive weekend. I'm planning on getting out in the garage sale trail tomorrow and Sunday. It is way too hot to even think about that.
It's way too hot for that here. But I don't know what it is in New York. They're probably sticky.
Yeah. Now, we had Larry way out. Shout out to Larry. He came out here for a Magic convention, Magic the Gathering convention that he's helping with. And, Archie and him said, hey, come on out. We'll play some cards out on the strip. Another just day where I just didn't do very well. I did get to play next to Larry. Of all the tables, he sat next to me. And so we had a good time. So that was pretty fun last night. But other than that, it's not a whole lot. Just coming here, grinding. I'm noticing that with a lot of the changes that I've made within my processes, that I'm getting stuff done by a certain time. And so I'm getting more time to put on my secondary account. What's up?
Keith said if you view your own listing, it counts towards that click also.
That's lovely, isn't
That's bull.
it? That's lovely.
You know what I mean?
But
that's crazy.
That's if you view your own listing through a best match promoted search. Now, if you're looking at your listing through your account, through your seller hub, that's organic. That shouldn't count as a click towards somebody else.
It shouldn't, but do we
I don't
know
think.
if it
I don't
does?
think. I don't think that's it at all. I don't think that's it at all. Now, I mean, that's just me. Maybe eBay is going to count that against you again. They don't have our. You guys got to know this. I don't dislike eBay. I may not even be able to step foot in eBay Open here in August. Just the perception that eBay has of me. I'm not an eBay shill, and I don't dislike eBay. I'm very thankful for eBay. But you have to know this about eBay. eBay is out. They're looking out for their own bottom line first. Case in point, Big Al. Anybody watch Big Al's video? I'm sure a few of you watch Big Al. They shut him down. They suspended him. MC011, where he had too many item not received cases out because he sold a lot of items. So eBay is okay. He might have 1 or 2 INRs over a period of time, and then wham, he increases his sales big time, 1,600 sales in a month or 21 days or whatever it was, And so whenever you make more sales, naturally you're going to have more returns, you're going to have more cases, you're going to have more issues with buyers. And eBay saw that, AI saw that, and put a kibosh on his account. They totally suspended
That's
him.
crap.
They took the visibility down for his items, and now he has to go in and, from what he was saying, he has to go and refund them. I don't know if that's necessarily how it's supposed to work. An item not received case, you're supposed to upload the details again for the tracking details for the buyer, and then you have a certain date that you have to resolve it by. Now, in the past, eBay has said, well, you have to let it run its course. You've uploaded the tracking. We'll come out with a decision in your favor by this date if it's been delivered. If it hasn't been delivered by that date, you need to have refunded the buyer. And I think a few of those, I think it's kind of sucks if they're making him wait until that date because his business is shut down, and you can prove that the tracking has been delivered. That's a little different when you're able to still run your business while you're waiting versus not being able to. So he's kind of got the shaft. If I was him, I would be contacting somebody at eBay. I know a lot of people are like shaking your head and rolling your eyes, but getting somebody on the phone that has some authority, like a supervisor, I've got my when I was suspended 2 years ago, I had a 3-day suspension I was staring at, and I got it wiped out like immediately after making my case to a human being and not a robot.
So did eBay say? So was it delivered or was it not?
All but 2 of his 10 cases showed delivered, and which would of course resolve itself by the deadline.
Yeah.
The other 2 were not. And whenever you have an undelivered item not received, by the deadline date you're given, you need to refund the buyer. That sucks. Wait until that item's been delivered. Contact eBay, and because they forced you to refund that buyer before that item got delivered, they will make you whole. I've been able to do that like 5 or 6 times now with no hesitation. So that would be my advice, is just to follow that process. But if you're making that kind of money like he was making, every day you're losing money, and you need to be fighting for your account, because eBay is just going to treat you like a number. There's not, I don't care how many videos you put out, they're probably not going to respond to it. You need to be on top of it and get somebody, even though you get a lot of frontline reps that don't help beyond the basic stuff, you can get that call escalated. I promise you that. And just so that Beard is aware, I did click on your comment there, sir. Look, I'm here. Not really. Who has time for this? John McSkippy went right by this one. No, I don't. But I got to tell you, though, really, I do want to not... I want to acknowledge everyone, right? But I can't... I really just can't... It's not like I can't. I don't want to read all the comments that everyone puts, because it kind of kills the live for some people. It's like, okay, well... I'm here for the nuggets and the morsels of information that we like to provide every so often, and
that's rare. But
when you're saying hi to everyone, I'm going to do my best. I will do a little bit better with it, so that we provide information throughout the live, so it gives you a reason to stick around. Mike Mecco. So Scott, does this mean you are becoming one of the early arrival crew for John's live stream, or is this just a happy coincidence? Derek W. Pat says, "Oh, hello, awesome people."
Hello,
and Beanie.
Derek.
We got Bill and Midge. I almost said Marge. Hello, J&J. We'll try to stay online, but our internet is down and my phone signal is weak. And it's so difficult. I mean, that is probably one of the things that most of us take for granted, is our internet. Everything's fine, and then all of a sudden your internet's off, and you're like, what do I do now? You're like in sort of this panic mode.
Yeah.
Yep, sit in the car and use that internet. I couldn't do that here. It's too hot.
Well, turn the car on.
You know what you do? You go
turn
to your...
the car on and you turn the air.
It's still too hot. You got the sun beaming down on you. I don't care what kind of AC you have. I'm going over to like a Starbucks with my laptop if I really had to get things done. And, I mean, we haven't had to do that before, but I would do something like that. I guess there's a link that's not working.
What?
You're lucky I saw that, Dave, because I don't... Apparently, the Dave's link in the live... Bear with me a second. Apparently, the link that I put here in the live Isn't working. Why isn't it working? Okay, we'll get that fixed here. That is really strange. Why that doesn't work.
I guess
But
there's a
I'm
link
trying
that's
to
not
get
working.
the link for you guys down so that you can click on his channel if you want to go and check out his channel. So we'll get that. We'll try to get that straightened out. You know, you think that you could do something just so simple, and it doesn't turn out that way. So I apologize, Dave, for that. So sales, weird sales patterns here, and I've shared this with you guys before, and I'm going to share it again. Now, does it mean anything because I say it? No, it means absolutely nothing, but it's still an observation nonetheless. If you guys run, anybody out there run auctions? Let me know if that worked, Dave. I did make a change on the link. Anybody out there run auctions? Now, I just so happen to be running some auctions right now because I have these military patches that I got from Craigslist Hunter, and I think it's kind of run its course now. They've been up for months individually, and I haven't been able to move them. So I thought, why not, and here they are right here, why not run some auctions? Let me move this off the screen here. So I have some auctions for all these different police patches, and I'm getting some views on them. Go down a little bit. Got 8 watchers, 6 watchers, 2 watchers, $29 on that one, $9.99. I started off all of them off at $9.99, and I have 7 or 8 of these different listings. I have probably about 7 or 8 more that I plan on getting listed. I'm doing them by state. And I didn't think anything of it. There was no real reason other than I just want to move on from them. I think my smaller store, like a quarter of the store size, was dedicated to these patches. Yeah. So I want to just get them gone, make as much. I've already made my money off of these things, and to move on. It's not like it's going to be a niche. I'm not going to come across these anymore. I mean, someone might contact me. Pete might contact me again and have more for me, and if so, I'll sell them again. But it's not something I'm going to base my store around. So let's get rid of them and focus on something else. But what I've noticed is, and this happened before, like a couple years ago when I was also selling those military things via auction, that I want you to see something here. This is the secondary store sales. Now, we started these, I put a 7-day auction on Sunday. So Sunday afternoon, it was our first auction that we listed. And after that, look at the sales. My other items, the sales are outstanding as compared to, look at all this junk before. Is there a correlation between running an auction and your regular non-auction items, your regular listed items? Is there a correlation between the two? Does running auctions help you indirectly with your regular listings? I mean,
who knows?
I'm just telling you what I noticed. Again, I'll take the tinfoil hat off now for you guys, but I'll let you decide what that is and what's causing that. But I mean, a spike in sales, at least a 50% increase, 50 to 75% increase in sales. For doing nothing more than just the basic stuff. I'm not doing anything crazy with it. In fact, I've got a lot of things in queue for that store that I plan on working tonight. This room, I got to tell you something.
Oh, this room
is, I'm accumulating behind us. You can't see us. I got tubs of stuff that are just getting accumulated in here that I'm tired of looking at, and I got to get more time in this other store, which is, for whatever, no real reason, taken off. But I need to get this stuff listed so I can have, some room. We're moving chairs in here and we can't even get in. So it's crazy. Let's see. Derek's with us. Says, well, at least you can recline back with some AC. Yes. Hopefully you guys had a great week. Kevin Hawthorne, good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Nice to see you.
Hello, Kevin.
And Callie Debs. Callie Debs. Duncan's with us. He was listening to, I guess, one of my videos, and because I mentioned AI, he fell asleep. So I will not mention KFC.
You can do it!
That's right. Todd's with us. Nice to see you, Todd.
Hello, Todd.
Henri Squaw. Yeah, Henri Squaw. And Joe Samard says, howdy, has eBay changed something? For 3 years, I've been 30% promoted and 70% generic last 4 days. 100% promoted, wonder why. Some people think that your organic sales have already changed over to 100% promoted. So you guys know that I did a video on this, a year ago, I think, when I was doing my spreadsheets. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I have like 25% of my sales, even though almost every item I have is promoted, there's no promoted fee here. And it's because people, from what I believe, is that they're finding those listings through the best match search. They go in and filter it by price, and your organic listing comes up before you're actually shown twice. Your organic listing comes up, and then a few down is your sponsored listing. Well, naturally, they're going to click on that organic listing first, and there's no promoted fee attached to it. They buy it, and you don't have to pay it. But I think what eBay is trying to do is bridge that gap. So in this case, maybe you had 30% organic and 70% promoted. eBay is trying to, how do we find a way to get it all promoted? How do we get it all? Just give it all to us.
Did you say
We
hi
want
to
it all.
Todd?
I did.
Oh, hi, Todd.
I did. You didn't hear me.
I didn't.
Mike Sellers to South Dakota. Greetings from Ranger and Mike.
Hello,
nice to see
Mike and Ranger.
you. Juan is with us at Nose Attic.
Aw. Hello, Juan.
Ping G is with us.
Ping.
And Christopher Nutter is with us as well.
Hello, Christopher.
We had Pork Chop, but he decided not to say anything,
Well,
so
he
we'll
might
skip.
still be here.
Dragon
so just
Master
say hello.
Fine says hello all.
Hello, Anthony.
And Troy Elmer, hello. 5 sales Wednesday, 2 yesterday, and dead today. Yeah, I just don't know. I did bring my main store up to over now 300. And I'm what I'm doing is I'm taking my lower ASP items off of the main, and I'm taking them off the store, and I'm pushing them over to the secondary store. So by bringing up the lowest dollar value in my store, I will be then inherently bringing up my ASP, because I won't be selling $20 to $25 items anymore. That makes sense. So as far as my sales, and I'll show you, this is kind of the segment where we go into what I'm doing for the year. So through the 20th of June, we're at 62,218.80. This is on the main account, not the account I just showed you. We have 813 items sold. We're down. That's down by 11.1%, but our ASP is at 76.53, up by 14.3%. If I can get that to 80, I'll be happy. I don't know how we're going to do that, but I think I think every time you sell a low dollar item, naturally it'll bring down your ASP. So by getting rid of the lowest items that I have in my store, maybe at some point I'll be nothing under $30 in this store.
I think we're down because last summer we had gotten the shower shitters, and we were selling those like
I don't know how we're. So we have one left.
Yeah.
So those things didn't sell like hotcakes. We had 40
No,
some
they
odd.
were selling last summer like hotcakes.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a correlation between summer and taking a shit
I never
in the
said
shower.
That. I never said that.
I know. I said that. Didn't you hear me say that?
Yeah.
I said that.
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of miscommunication going on right now. Are you okay?
Don't ask me if I'm okay.
Dave says, "Sup, everyone. Nice to see you, buddy."
There's Pork Chop. Hello from Texas.
Yep. By hitting the like button because I need a sale and I'm in a dry spell.
Ooh.
Well, we're going to put that out to you.
Yes, we are sending it to you.
Within the next 24 hours, you're going to get that sale.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. It could be that thing that you had sitting in your store for years, but it's going to be moving here pretty soon. Duncan, please, we're done with AI. Happy birthday, Jenna.
My birthday is not for a while.
I know there is a lot of fajitas.
Fajitas?
We just ate some
I thought you were gonna
fajitas.
say fajitas.
I'm going to ask you guys a question here in the poll. Are you tired of talking about or hearing about AI when you are looking for reselling content? Yes or no?
I don't look for reselling.
Well, maybe you don't, but other people do. I'll do this one. I don't care. Okay. So
You didn't put your apostrophe in.
who cares? So there's your poll.
Say I don't care.
There's your poll. Are you tired of talking about or hearing about AI when you're looking for reselling content?
Man,
There
that
it
was
is.
the first one, and then somebody jumped in there and took it.
Yeah, I want to know what you guys think about that. But I got bad news for you. I got really bad news for you. No matter how you vote, we're just starting. The conversation's just beginning.
Right, but I think it's because it's just so everybody is just saying the same things and getting in on the same train, and it's kind of like the Karen Reed trial. You just don't want to hear about it anymore after a while.
I never wanted to hear about it. But I got to tell you, we're right now in the how's it going to impact our lives sort of stage. We don't really quite know.
We don't have all those answers, though. We can't.
We
keep
will
asking.
but we will very soon. And it kind of feels like, and it's not intentional, but because these programs for the masses haven't been rolled out yet. I guess some people have gotten their hands on it with Tech's program, and I know that there's some beta testing going on with Josh's program. But the 99.9% of us that haven't had a chance to mess with this, we really just don't know if it's going to benefit our accounts, and if it does, what the impact's going to be. And I'm willing to bet that once these programs actually roll out for the masses, where everyone can get their hands on it, that people will be a little bit more excited about the topic. That's just my opinion. Semper Fi says, 1918 in the house, slow, steady sales, up by small percent overall last year. Not doing AI to list, me and tech butt heads often.
Well, you can use AI without having anything to do with him.
The technology. You know.
Oh, technology.
Technology.
Oh, my bad.
Technology, not tech and sport. You're not talking about tech
my
and
bad.
sports.
Sorry.
Spam says, aloha, I'm excited for AI, but for now I've had my fill of everyone's opinions on the topic.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying, Spam.
You know, it's like everyone's going to have an opinion. I've had my many opinions. You guys know that. Callie Deb says, sometimes I don't list on eBay because of their policies. I'd rather list some items elsewhere only. And that's a good thing to think about. And this is what I was thinking about as well. Once we get these tools, and I promise you, I would think there's going to be more people using them than not eventually. That means you're going to get more items up on your store, and you're still going to have the same number of eBay buyers. That's kind of been my contention about the whole thing, the possibility of flooding markets. I'm not going to go into that again. But you're going to have more items then that you might want to get in front of more people and to cross-list. And so you're paying, like I think some of these listers like to get 1,000 items on AI, 1,000 created listings with AI. I think it's on Josh's tool like $69.99, which is why they say 7 cents a listing. But that model, you're paying $69.99 whether you use 500 or 1,000. Okay, just putting it out there. But when you're dealing with a cross-listing tool, I mean, if you're going to pay $70 for Josh's tool, and then you're going to come over and pay another $70 per month for another tool, you're going to be out of pocket $140. That's your overhead before eBay fees, store, and all that. So, and you may not even have any success in selling those cross-listing. You might not right away. So what I'm saying is use a tool like TreeCat where you're not billed every month. You're only billed as you make sales. And as they use the software to interact with your listings, remove them from other platforms. Something to consider, though. If you're just putting all your eggs in one basket, that might be a mistake. So just putting it out there. Primo says, Vermont tacos for the win. I was thinking away. Every time I see something that is a taco recipe that's not authentic, like you'd find at a Mexican restaurant, it falls into the category of Vermont tacos for me. And I saw a little Instagram reel where somebody put these flour tortillas in their toaster, like in a U shape, and let the toaster do its magic, and then they filled it with their meat and cheese and all that. And I'm all, that's Vermont style right there. That's how they do it in Vermont.
I don't think so.
Troy Elmer says it's amazing how people at yard sales will quote a value it took them a second to look up, yet not one of them know a thing about what it takes to list. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if they knew anything about what it took to list, they would just keep having their yard sales.
But when you get somebody like that and they'll say, this is $30, and you're like, wow, I mean, I don't know if I'll go, well, it sells for $50 on eBay. Well, you should ask them, great, what's your return policy? If you have 30-day returns, free returns, I will buy it right now. See how they react. Keith says,
hi, Keith.
John and Jenna and FAE chat, just got home, been busy day sorting things out. Awesome. And then we have Bachelor Brad is with us.
He's laughing at you.
Craig Winan says, only 4 minutes late today, LOL. No, I was a minute late, but she got a phone call
right when we were
about to start,
go live.
And she's like, you know, the people, the receptionists want to, I'm so and so. How are you doing? They want to drag the damn conversation out.
Just spit it out. I don't have time for this.
So I had to tell her, go out there and I'll start the live, and she did. So
I was like, I knew they were gonna call right when we were live.
Bachelor Brad joined at the best of times. Probably when we were bickering, but
probably.
You know, what's new? What's new? Troy,
welcome to our life.
Troy says most are too lazy to take the time to list, yet they want to list. They just want the best of both worlds. They want cash. They don't want to deal with eBay fees. They don't want to deal with returns, because I promise you, they're not. If you ask them anything about what if this doesn't work, they're going to be like, oh, well, it's a yard sale. They're going to then make reference to it as being a yard sale. So in reality, these people are just not realistic, and they will realize that. These are the kind of people that you would want to have a card made, a business card made, and let them know, I'm interested in a bunch of your items, but I think you're a little bit high. Tell you what, here's my card. If you are willing to work with me and come down in price, then give me a call, because they're not going to want to put all that stuff back in the garage and look at it.
I know, I wouldn't.
Yes, I'm always in diatribe mode, Keith.
God.
Flip It Goods. It's Happy Friday. Nice to see you.
Hello. Happy Friday.
And Peddling Profits says, good evening, folks.
Peddling Profits. When I see Peddling Profits, I see somebody on a what is it? The bicycle built for two. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but that's what I picture.
Beamy says, seems like it's already doing that here in the U.S. I get a lot of promoted sales versus organic. But what I'm trying to say is that this change, I think the UK folks and the Australian folks are going to see, well, and the European folks, are going to see a shift from like a 70% promoted and 30% organic to like hardly ever any more organics. I just think, I don't know, there's some stop that's and whatever. Scott Schendel says they already hide your listings when you don't promote. I think so. I think that eBay is going to sort of indirectly punish some folks that don't promote. And I really think it's category specific. I think there are some categories where really they're not as affected than others. But if you're not promoting, they're going to just close the spigot. You're not going to get as much sales throughout a month as you can go back. And that's why it's important to take a look at your numbers. Like I take a look at my numbers and to see how am I doing versus last year. I'm wondering, for those of you who don't promote, if you look at your numbers as compared to last year and see this year as compared to last year, and you haven't promoted last year, you don't promote this year, do you see a downturn in sales? Which tells me that eBay is really working their magic to really push away the number of non-promoted sales. I really think that's what's happening. Let's see. You can do it when you CFK. All right. Troy,
CFK.
I don't know. Trey Elmer says also eBay is forcing free returns on car parts. Yes. Car part sellers, which shouldn't be allowed because anyone can send back their old part. And I sell parts. I can tell you that's a concern. You get a lot of people, though, that will buy a part for a car, and there's so many different trims. I guess that's the right terminology for it. So like if I have a 2013 Kia Sportage and I want to buy a part for it, well, there's SX, EX, LX, whatever, touring model, this model, that model, and you have to know with all these parts, if all of them apply to that part or only a few of them apply to that part. If you go in and select the compatibility for all of them and it turns out like the touring edition doesn't use that part, then now it doesn't fit, and now you're on the hook for that return label. So, and remember, the whole idea of free returns on that is eBay will cover the return on those parts if it's a doesn't fit situation where the buyer, they have that car but they bought it anyway trying to make the part fit. If it's not as described, which I think people will do more to put not as described to get around paying for the return label, then you're going to be on the hook for that 100%, whether you have free returns or not. Henri Squaw says, I'm not understanding your diatribe.
I think she may have.
Hopefully I brought it home near the end.
Well, yeah.
Bachelor Brad says, I just got a return. Say the item sent was missing parts that were not listed with the item or mentioned at all. So, so did you said that the item was missing the parts. And they said, okay, we bought it, and then they said the item was missing parts. I mean, that just boils down to them not reading the listing. You still have to accept the return, and if it turns out that you got back what you shipped, you didn't ship the complete unit because you didn't have the complete unit, then give them a full refund and move on and relist it. If it turns out they kept some of the parts, then deduct 50% from the refund. Henri Squaw says, so the only way to not pay a promoted fee is to totally stop promoting? Yep. Mm-hmm. Eventually. Now, that's not to say for US sellers, they tell us it's not changed yet. So some sellers beg to differ. They think that I'm getting charged on every listing now for a promoted fee, but it's not supposed to change for US sellers on the 24th. Only Australian, UK, and European sellers are going to be dealing with that change. So we'll find out. Beamy says the only way around that is to end and sell similar, but you won't know if someone has clicked on it. Yeah, and I do that. I do the end item sell similar process. I'm going through and every day, and I haven't done my daily one today. So let's say I have 300 in my store, right? So I divide that by 30 days in a month. So 10 items a day I'm doing an end, and it's the 10 items that are the nearest to being recycled through the 30-day life. So I'll go in and I'll end and sell similar, and then it gives me a new item listing or a new listing tag next to the listing. Gives it a little bit of a boost, and I really do feel that it gives you a chance to maybe analyze those listings to see, okay, why isn't this item selling? Maybe looking to see other items similar to it that are selling. Maybe your price too high. Maybe your photos suck. But it gives you a chance on a smaller scale. So I mean, if you have 3,000 items, yeah, it'd be 300 items. Maybe you need to take a couple hours or an hour and go through that process. But I promise you, much more than what Beamy's saying here, it will help you get those items sold, I believe. Gail says, happy afternoon, FAE family, and she's just late to the game. I can't help it. Craig Winan says, the solution for promoted is don't do it. If you insist on using promoted, then don't complain about how it works. We all know how promoted sucks. So the thing is, though, look, I'm telling you guys what I see. Now, I guess that comes off as a complaint. A complaint, maybe, I mean, if I was whining a little bit more, I guess you can say it's more of, this channel is to help educate people as to what the hell is going on. And I do promote. You may not promote. And bottom line, if you're happy with your results by not promoting, then who am I to sit here and tell you you should be promoting? But the coin does flip. If I'm happy with the results that I'm getting, who are you to tell me why I shouldn't be promoting? Because I can tell you this, based on what I'm selling, if I don't promote, my sales are going to go in the tank. That $62,000 so far for this year is going to be about $35,000. I promise you. I'm still going to get sales, but not nowhere near at the level of sales that I'm getting right now. So yes, the promoted listings suck. I think if I did another poll right now, how many of you guys think that promoted listings are a great thing? We'd probably get 1%, and it's probably an eBay employee that's probably voting yes. I think we all can agree that promoted listings suck. The rules that eBay keeps changing on the platform, I think most of us would say suck, but we have to look at it like we can't control that. We play the game by the rules that are set, and we have to adjust based on those rules, and that's all I'm doing. That's all I've ever done. If I knew my items were going to sell just the same organically, I wouldn't be using promoted listings. But I've already found that out. I've already tried that out years ago, and I don't want to go back to driving for Uber Eats. So, to each his own. Keith says if you view your own listing, it counts towards that click also. That's I'd like to see that. I can't confirm or deny that one. Troy Elmer. It's just a way for eBay to get paid for listings. They're promoted for you regardless of who buys. If you provide a service, will you accept not getting paid on a technicality? Yeah, it's eBay's going to make more of these changes. It's certainly not anything that's new, and it's not anything that's going to be ending here. It almost feels like they're closing a loophole. Like, yeah, okay, fine. You're promoting your listings, and people are finding a way to click through them organically, and you're not paying a promoted listing fee. But we'll change that. Jerry's with us. Nice to see you, Jerry. Jerry Johnson.
Hi, Jerry.
Big Dre says, I've been so busy I haven't even been able to watch reseller channels. Storm knocked a tree over, and it took out my power lines last week.
Oh.
I stayed at a hotel all last week.
Oh, wow.
Make a vacation out of it. I don't know how you do that with bad weather, but
yeah.
Sherman says not enough buyers on eBay to support the 18 million sellers and all the items that we have to offer. And that's the biggest concern. If there's any concern I'd have about eBay moving forward is, and it's kind of the same concern. They've done a little bit to try to rectify it in the last year, but I just don't feel like it's enough. They got to get their brand out there to where it's the first place that most people think of when they're going to buy whatever item that they're going to buy. I mean, right now, what pops up in my mind, if I'm to buy something online, the first thing that pops up in my mind is Amazon, right? And that's because Amazon's done a great job over the years in programming us into that is the go-to place. And eBay needs to do a better job. And I'm not saying eBay needs to be Amazon. I'm saying that eBay needs to take whatever Amazon's done to make them like a household name and make eBay a household name, not just for Gen Z, but for Gen X as well, and millennials and the newer generations that are coming up. Scan to Freedom says, hey, friends. What's going on, Jake?
Hey.
Keith says, no, if you click on a different browser to view their listing, then it'll count. If do it through a Seller Hub account, then it won't. That's what I thought. So, yeah, if you're looking at your Seller Hub, it shouldn't count against you if you're just doing maintenance on your account. Troy Elmer says, it's like stand on a street corner holding an advertising sign and not getting paid because no one mentioned you. Derek W. Pat says, I wonder if they will charge us what the seller has their promoted set at. I hope not. That would suck. So, no, okay, so the confusion I think that I had was if they look at, initially when we were talking about this, when they first announced it, the way it read to me was, okay, my item shows up as the 10th item in the search, but they clicked on the first item, which isn't mine, that happened to be promoted, and then they came and bought my item later and triggered my non-promoted item as a promoted item. That's kind of what I was thinking, but that's not it at all. It is if they go in and click on your ad, which is once you promote, your listing becomes an ad. It's kind of how the terminology is on it. And so they click on the ad of my listing, and then they say, no, I'm not going to buy it. And then somebody comes through a non-organic link later on and buys it. Then it's going to be, for everyone at that point, a promoted listing. Yes, Keith, they slapped him with a MC11, Big Al. Scott says, so dumb how customers can even open a case when it says it's delivered.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? And you get those people who open a case that maybe it was delivered on their porch. Porch pirate took it. Spouse took it inside. No communication. I'm not saying you. You just happen to be the spouse in the room. No communication. They put it up. They put it away. And they're like freaking out. They open a case. So they open a case. Oh, it turns up. Of course, think a buyer's going to take time to close the case? No. So now it's on you to have to fight that. And if you get enough of them, now eBay comes down with it. Yeah. Yep. And then Keith says in UK, it's almost impossible to get eBay on the phone. So my only thought is this trick. And I found out that the reps actually see what reason you use for a callback. So I found this out because weren't you calling for a shoe authentication question? But there's a dedicated team, and I believe they're still in the United States. Last time I did this, they were in the U.S. But you go on the automated chat, and you ask them, go through the steps to get the automated chat, and say, I have a question about the eBay authentication policy for sneakers. And they'll try to give you an article, and then you just put, have someone call me. And then it'll say, okay, here's your number. We'll have someone call you. It works. That's the way to do it. Now, I don't know if it works that way in the UK, but that's the way it works in the US. Jerry says, hi, everyone. Today and the next 2 days, we're going to be 100 degrees or above hot. It's been like that for us.
105 here.
Michelle R. says, hello, everyone. It's storming out right now.
Oh, wow. Send it to us.
Craig says there are 134 million active members on eBay, more than enough for 18.3 million sellers. Yes. Well, they say 134 million active members on eBay, but how active are those 134? I mean, they might buy one item every 6 months, maybe two every year. Maybe they won't buy anything at all. Maybe they're just on eBay doing research for who knows.
I find that very hard to believe.
But even that being the case, there's been a loss year over year of buyers on the platform. So that number keeps shrinking, and it shouldn't be. Retro Going Gone says, good evening, John and Jenna. It's worrying that clicking on items and paying more really is not worth it for me to put low-end pricing items on my store. Yeah. I mean, how low do you go? Well, what's the kind of... I look at it, our secondary account, I don't go any lower than like $8 plus shipping. I mean, I don't know if we have anything that's any lower than that. I mean, if I do, it's time to take that stupid thing down.
Like that.
But yeah, it's almost not even worth your time to go through the whole process of listing it, shipping it, dealing with customer service on an item that when it's all said and done, you're going to make $2 on. Keith says, been a busy week, not so much on eBay, but with the e-waste side of things is growing. There you go. You got a secondary little income there. Beanie says, John, you need to fire your engineer.
He needs to fire himself.
Yeah, that's right. Dave Harrington. There he is. Sherman Volkman says, no auctions for me. Too many snipers. I don't look. But the thing is, I'm at the point where.
Yeah, but if you're running an auction, what do you care about snipers?
That could be a good thing, right? But. Yeah. Well, I think Sherman's talking about it as a buyer. No auctions for Sherman, because you're lined up. You're lined up. You're thinking you're gonna win. You're thinking, okay, nobody else has interest in this thing, and you find like, what the hell? What happened? Somebody.
That's
last
because
second.
You want to know why? I'm the sniper. I am your worst nightmare.
I swipe. I don't snipe.
I am a sniper. I will come in the last 10 seconds, and boop. I do it all the time.
I don't know. I can't read my text, so I get text going on and I can't see it. Bill Hess says, I only run auctions to blow out slow-moving stuff.
Yeah,
so for these, I really have no idea what the true value of these things are. I really don't. They're old. They're vintage. Some of them have civil defense, which is, something we talked about a while back. I don't really know too much more about what I have. I don't know what the true value is. And it could be I still have these because I have these things priced too high, 20, 30, 40 bucks. Some of them, just kind of a guesstimate based on previous similar solds, but not exactly the same one. A lot of these are unique. I haven't found many of these in Terapeak or...
I thought you were making them in their own, like, correlated to a state or something.
That is. This is Illinois.
They have a Peru?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep, they sure
They
do.
have a Venice?
They do. Look, I looked these all up, I promise you. Okay, let me ask you this. Do they have a Peru? What do you think that's shaped of? It's not a chicken McNugget.
I don't know.
That's the state of Illinois.
I don't frequent Illinois, so
Well,
I wouldn't know.
We had one of our best experiences in Illinois.
No, we didn't. We had the worst experience of my life, and I'll never return to Chicago. Ever.
Keith says, Derek, yeah, but it's hard to get going in first place. Lots of red tape to go through. Yeah. Duncan runs 100 auctions a week.
Well, that's why he's a gazillionaire.
I just wonder if there's a correlation between running consistent auctions, whether it's just one auction or not, and if that does give you a boost. I noticed it before, and I'm noticing well, there's no reason why our secondary store is getting sales because none of these auctions have ended yet. Keith says, but after that, word gets out that I turn up to warehouse in morning, and there are like loads of stuff dumped outside the processes. So yeah, that's your e-waste stuff. Big Dre says 2 pairs of shoes sold while I was at the hotel that paid for the whole week.
Nice.
There you go. So there's a silver lining there.
Yeah.
Troy says, I haven't done auction on eBay since about 15 years ago. Well, it's still there. For me, I just want to move on from stuff. And look, if I have a lot of these patches sitting in my store and there's zero interest in them individually, then I really think it's going to hurt my conversion rate. I already have a bad enough conversion rate on that second store anyway. So Samantha Hunter's with us. Nice to see you.
Hello, Samantha.
And Andy wants to be first.
Hi, Andy.
When he made this comment about a half an hour ago, he was really hoping he'd still be first. Jovial says, hey, FA fam, happy Vanilla Milkshake Day. Bring all them boys to the yard.
Oh, my.
Yeah, well.
That kind of milkshake?
You need 2 then. You need 2 milkshakes, not just one, if that's the case. Keith says, my goal is to grow the e-waste to replace eBay and only use eBay as outlet for items too good to process as scrap. Okay.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
Art by Act was laughing. That's awesome. Oh, Silver Hair Todd says,
Are you blind?
I am blind.
Wow.
That's why you're here. You're here to kind of do what you do when I drive.
Do you want to get smacked? Is that your...
Half of 2025 done. Are we halfway to 2025 goals? Well, not quite halfway there. We still got another 10 days. And I would say for this account, we are trending towards about 125 to 130. Now, I say that knowing that my Q4s of last 2 years have been trash due to limited sourcing. I have a storage unit full of stuff. Hopefully that'll turn that around. But 125 to 130 is kind of what the stats are trending at. We'll see. Hopefully you're doing good, and thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Todd.
Appreciate you. Keith says, thus letting me move smaller store. Yeah.
Andy got his
downside.
cha-ching.
Oh, there it is. Andy got his cha-ching. And Beamy has
Why
it.
don't we have a cha-ching?
Jackpot.
You don't even know the buttons.
No,
You don't even know the buttons. There you go.
Sold it on eBay to home.
Troy says, I think you're spot on if you're nitpicking what you promote. They want all or none. Just pick a percent you're comfortable with on all or don't promote at all. Right. But you got to find that number. It's not enough to say, oh, let's just do 2% because eBay wants us to promote. You got to go in and find that number, that sweet spot. So you can go in and say, okay, I'm promoting at 8% and give that a couple weeks. But don't just give that a couple weeks. Go in and look at your listings quality report if you have it. If you don't, and I'm going to find out why we don't have it. Most of the people don't have it yet because I have it. But if you don't, then start looking at where you rank in search. Now, of course, it's on another browser where you're not logged in. If you have someone that's in a different area of the country that can help you with this exercise, even better. But search for certain items. See where you rank. If you're consistently at the top, there's probably room to come down a little bit, maybe 6%. And find what that number is to where you're not dropping in impressions and sales. And then that's the number you need to go with. Art by X says, I'm not tired of hearing about AI because I'm excited for Josh Galt's platform and can't wait. There's a lot of folks that feel the same way. It's going to save me a little bit of time too, if it works the way I need it to work. And all I need it to do is create drafts. So my thing is I buy individual liquidation pieces throughout different sites online, and if I can take their main photo, which is usually a stock photo, and look, it's just like a landing photo. So when I put my photos in, I'll replace that eventually. But I'll use those photos so that AI can make the listing, and then the draft is made. I can now add my photos when I get the item, my shipping, and my location. It's just my process. It works for what I do. Michelle R says, my store has been dead all week and I've tried everything.
Send us an email.
We'll take a look.
flippin8easy2020@gmail.com.
Also, we will on Wednesday take a look on the Members Live. Whoever wants to volunteer their store, we go through and take a look at other stores on eBay and look at best practices and maybe things that they shouldn't be doing. Just taking notes of different things that we can incorporate into our own stores. If you want to, $2.99 to be a member, come out, hang with us for about an hour and a half or so. We do it like every 2 weeks, and be glad to do that. Another thing also, for those of you who haven't seen, on Thursday mornings, I'm doing a video. I'm actually recording it the night before Wednesday nights now. I'm going to do it. I try to do it every week. And I'm going through my account, my main account, and I'm taking a look at all the different metrics, and I'm analyzing what I have going on with my stats, and then I'm bringing in AI to analyze that and to give me things that I can do differently within my store. Knowing how many items I have, how much I'm selling, and having AI know that, and then making recommendations to me. So come along that journey if you want to be a part of that. Of course, that's on the standard channel. That's every Thursday morning, and I did my first video this last Thursday, yesterday. So come on and check it out. I don't have the link to share with you, but it's in my videos. Big Dre, it's a hot topic right now, so I'm fine with it. Yes, and Gretchen just doesn't care. I don't care. I'm trying to see where we at. We're at a 50% yes, that they're tired of hearing about it. 24% they're not tired of hearing about it, and 26% says that I'll end the poll since we're. Can I show the poll?
No.
Okay, so.
Well, you probably could have.
I could have, but I don't know how to. Derek says, just got.
Oh, here it is.
Okay. So you can check it out in chat that I just ended the poll, and it looks like the overwhelming majority of folks are kind of just tired of it. Yeah. Derek says, just got done eating a French dip from Schlotzsky's.
That sounds
so delicious, and
so
they give
good.
you a pretty good size of au jus. For those who haven't ever tried it, Schlotzsky's. That's in LA, isn't it?
Do we have any place that we can get one? Because
Schlotzsky's.
There was a place in the Orleans that we would go to when we came here to visit for bowling, that we would go to the cafe, and they had a really good French dip, but they don't have that anymore.
They have a Schlotzsky's here in Vegas.
Where?
It's
on
Charleston.
the Strip.
It's a 5119 Charleston. Ooh, we gotta check that out. Check that out.
I really would love a French dip.
Interesting. Life of Dina Fierce says it's scary times, but it's helping business. Yeah, any time that you're dealing with uncertainty, it's like, what is AI gonna do? Is it gonna wreck my listings? Is eBay going to notice that these are created by AI and sort of handicap me? Is it, gonna come out the way I want them. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now with them, so I can understand being apprehensive. You lose, I'm the winner says yes, it's getting annoying. Exactly, everyone is promoting AI, and I just go find other content to watch. Yeah. Mike Mecco says, I'm not tired about it at all. So much to learn, so much potential in the tool. I want to be fully prepared once it rolls out. And I think you have two camps. You have one camp that's like, okay, I'm going to embrace these changes and see that AI is going to be... If you think AI is ending with the listing tool, you're wrong. That's going to be a small aspect of AI as we move forward. AI is taken over the world. I hate to say it, but it is. But then there's the other faction of people that are like, look, I've made sales without it all these years. It's another expense I don't want to mess with. I'll just deal with the way I've been dealing with it. I'm happy the way it's going. And eventually a lot of those people are going to end up on the AI side of things, I think, when they see how it's saving people time and money and effort. Derek says, yes and no. Yes, because I'm learning something now new. Like yesterday, I learned how to use ChatGPT on my phone when outsourcing. Can't wait to try it. And for those of you who are still using Google Lens, I would challenge you to use like a ChatGPT, like even Grok. They have apps where you just take a photo real quick. Like you at the yard sale, you take a photo and just put, can you tell me what this is if you're not sure, or can you give me the comps on eBay, the sold comps on eBay for this? And it'll actually go through and give you an idea on what it is and how much the thing's worth. Beamy says, I think they should have paid more attention to the movies where AI decided humans were no longer needed. Andre Squaw says, well, I for one do not want to list that many items in a day.
Yeah.
But have you thought about, okay, so maybe you list 10 in a day, and maybe you take a couple hours to do it. What if you could save an hour a day? Is that something that would be interesting to you? Like that's why I'll sit here for 3 hours going through all the things that I bought that I'm about to pick up the next day online, and I will create all my listings. Now I take my time. I make sure the things are right. I try to make sure the listing is ready to go, except for the few things I have to do when I get the item. If I can take that 3 hours and turning it into like 30 minutes, then hey, I can get that time back. Keith says, John, AA content creator, you got to go where there is content, even if you risk losing a few viewers and process, but sometimes for the channel stats, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, I mean, I'm not there yet with just making content solely for the purpose of getting views. I do make a lot of videos that don't get a lot of views, but it's like I think about it and I'm thinking, that's the video I wanted to make. Do I regret making it? No. It just, unfortunately, people are looking for something else to watch. Now, will I start changing my content when I see that, oh, well, this guy's using clickbait and maybe saying absolutely nothing, but the title got you there and it's getting them more views? No, I don't like that. I feel crummy with that. Tim Halcom says, want to know more about AI? Okay. I think there's a lot of people. I really want to know where's the limit at? Where does AI end? That's the scary thought.
That's the scary thought.
Andy says, right now I pretty much piggyback my listings from watching James and to all of his items. I think it would take me 3 times as long to list. But he has his system down.
Yeah.
He's got a system. It works for him and his situation. And it's one of those things where you just say, don't try this at home. You got professionals here. This was done by a verified stuntman. I call James a stuntman for being able to juggle all those listings in the way he does it. And you risk injury if you try to do what James does. Keith says, I won't hold it against anyone for doing the whole AI content videos or streams. Just don't bother to watch them if it's going to be AI related, but that's my own choice. Yeah. But I think also what's happened, and just my observation, I think you have your own AI solution. I think you've had one created for yourself, and it's fine for you. And to say, well, why do I care what these guys are making for other people when mine works just the way I need it to? It's not an interesting topic. I understand. Big Dre says, my storage unit has become a hotel for the homeless. I had to listen to a domestic dispute while I was picking and packing the other day,
Oh.
and they have dogs in there too.
Oh my gosh. I hope you get your power restored real soon.
I don't know. It's very quiet in our storage. It's an indoor storage unit.
Yeah.
It's very quiet in there. I think I would be entertained by having someone arguing a few storage units down.
Well, let them know what you woke up to this morning.
What did I wake up to this morning?
Guy asked
Oh
me.
yeah. So I'm out. I have my garage door open, and some guy's outside of my driveway, and he's like, "Hey, sir, can you help me out?" Sure. What's up? You have the brown dog in your the brown little dog in your backyard. I'm like, well, yeah, he's not always out there, but yeah. He's like, yeah. My keys were thrown over your fence yesterday. I'm like, what the hell have your keys been thrown over my fence? We had a dispute of some kind of a situation. He didn't go into it, but he's like, if you could just go check for me. He seemed to be kind of embarrassed. I'm like, don't worry, let me go look. And yep, he had a big old key ring full of keys in my backyard, and it's like living on the other side of a park.
We have a park in our back.
Jeez.
Off the brick wall on the other side is a park, and there's a road. It's a main road between communities. And last night, while John was out playing poker, here I am just trying to watch TV, and there is nothing but screeching and tires just wound up on the streets. There's probably a good 50 to 60 people standing on the sidewalks in the backyard. And then finally I got to a point where I was so annoyed that I just turned the TV up louder, and we have a portable air conditioner in our bedroom, so I turned that up higher so that I could drown out the sound. So that, I bet you that's what happened.
Yeah. FA fam is number 1. Well, thank you, Derek.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Derek.
you.
We have a sticker like that?
I don't know. He may have provided his own. Todd says AI in the live chats is just over talk now. We mostly have our opinions, so just do what we're going to do about it. Yeah. Susan says, how do you create an auction? Have looked and Googled, but not seeing it. So when you're in your listing, when you're creating a listing, you'll go in and see if I can go there real quick. So when I am, see if I can do a sell similar. So let's say I'm in this item here, and I'm going to sell similar. It's an item I just listed today. And I go down underneath the item description. This is on the PC, by the way, and it says pricing format. I can go to auction and then click on auction, and then once it's done, you can go 5 or 7 days. If you do 3 days, they're going to charge you $1 to do it, and they'll recommend where you should start it. I ain't doing my hard goods as an auction, so that ain't happening. That ain't happening, but that's how you do it on the PC, and it's a very similar process when you're doing it on the computer as well. Or not a computer, but on the app as well. Big Dre says, I was in the hotel this week, not last week. I typed it wrong.
Oh.
But you're in the hotel.
Yeah.
Daisy says, hello, family. Nice to be here. I wasn't notified, but I made it.
Hello, Daisy. Welcome.
For those of you who don't get the notifications, here's another way you can get the notifications. That's YouTube proof. Go in to your phone, set an alarm for 3 p.m. Pacific time or 6 p.m. Eastern, wherever you live,
that serious.
on Fridays and Mondays,
It is
and
not
you will
that
always
serious.
know we're going live. It is that serious. Sherman Volkman says, I hate when eBay moves the listing tools they provide. I got 4 dings on my account a couple of years ago when they moved one of those tools.
Oh.
Yeah, that's no good. And then, of course, they ding you for something they perceive you as doing wrong when it was an eBay problem, and they won't remove it. They'll stick to their guns, feeling like this is your fault. It's never eBay's fault. Daisy says, eBay died for me. Lost of interest. I keep listing, but no sales for a week. I'm experiencing hard low tide. I hope high tide will come soon.
Yeah, you just have to keep pushing through it.
Yeah.
You're gonna. Sadly, this happens every summer. For most people.
I'm in the camp where I really believe, and I've always said this, is that there's almost always an answer. You may not like that answer, but there's almost always an answer. From what you're selling, people hate me for saying that, to how much you're selling it for, to it's the way your listing is set up. I think there's different things that could be negatively affecting your sales. And once you figure that out, then things will change. But I think that's the hardest thing for many is to A, find out what it is, and B, to accept that answer. So it's like, yeah, I'm trying to sell these remotes, but I ain't getting any sales. So what the hell? And then, I feel like I got them at a good price. And then you find out this ain't selling for nobody. So it's not just you, it's the item. But that's the part that pisses people off at me when I even suggest, well, how dare you say it could be your item? Well, it could be your item. I hate to say it, but I did. Rad Relics John says, I promote nothing for the first 90 days, then promote 5 or 6% after that. So that's a model you can do, and it's saying that, okay, I'm going to give it time to organically sell without the promoted listing fees, and then maybe the third month or whatever it is, I would say maybe a month, but just depends on your model. Something I'm trying to do also when I'm doing the end item sell similar, I'm adding the asterisk so I know that what month I'm on for that item, because if I'm on month 3 or 4 for that item, I'm going to be super aggressive with the price. It's like it's time to give it away if I have to. Rad Relic says, I get a lot of great sales on newly listed items. I can't prove it, but I think that newly listed items get that new listing bump. They do. Any new listing, or if you end item sell similar or relist, it gives you the new item boost, and it gives you that little tag next to your title that says new item or new listing. Henri Squaw, well, my sales on eBay seem to be down, but my sales on the other sites have picked up. There you go. And is that because you have more buyers that are on those sites instead of eBay? Could be due to market share. Keith says, John has trouble reading at best of times. Now he reading backwards. CFK. We do have a live announcement for Bearded Picker. He is having his live at 5. I think I'm not sure if he's having his Whatnot show afterwards, but I know he's having his live from at least in the next 45 minutes. So for an hour at least. Rad Relic's electrical parts are going to be rent and test. I hope not, because someone's buying a part for their vacuum. If it's fixing a problem with their vacuum, they're not going to have a need to send it back. Gretchen says, yep, different trims for the automobiles. It's the probably the biggest pain in the butt for selling on. And I got an email months ago saying that, join this program and we'll you just list the item and we'll figure out what those trims are, the make, model, year of the car. And I have listings that still have never been updated, so I don't know what that's about. Nope, sir, you skipped the show is what happened. So you skipped the show so that you didn't hear me read your Skippity McSkipperson comment. And so what's worse, skipping your comment when you're here or skipping the segment of the show where I read your comment? Gretchen says, I love my Kia Soul too bad they're going to discontinue them.
Oh, they are? I didn't know that.
Kia Soul. You loved your Soul.
I did love my Soul.
Now, how is that different than a PT Cruiser?
It's
She
way
hated
different.
when I had my PT Cruiser back in 2011.
You thought you were so cool, but you are such a dork.
It was paid for. That's why I liked it. Kelly says, John, we get that AI is important, but you've had several videos and lives where all you talk about is AI. We get it. Find something else to talk about. Just my 2 cents. Kelly, let me ask you a question. Or did you hang out with Beard for the first part of the show where you skipped half of the show? I don't think I spoke about AI all that much, unless someone brought it up. And I'm not going to ignore AI when someone brings it up. But here's the great thing. If I find a channel that I just feel like this guy's getting on my nerves, like if it seems like I'm getting on your nerves, I don't watch the channel anymore. So if you don't like me or the content that I'm trying to bring to you guys, then, I'm sorry to say it, but I guess there's other people who won't talk about AI. Derek says, and I hate to say that, but it's kind of irritating when you're doing the best you can to put out content that's relevant, and instead of just, all right, fine, he gets on my nerves because he's talking AI. How about talk about some of the things that we did talk about? What's your take on this whole promoted listings thing? That has nothing to do with AI. That was probably most of the conversation. What's your take there? That would be more productive than to scold me over what I'm talking about. Travis in Dallas says eBay has a certain number of spots in search for promoted listings. Unless they are increasing the number of spots for promoted listings, I don't see why what eBay could be doing to force you to promote. Well, what's happening is they're making people feel, when you list your item and they say, okay, we recommend you use 15 point something %, you're not promoting and your sales are slow, you start thinking, well, maybe there is something to this. If I'm not playing their game, they're not going to let me get my sales. And there's something to it. I really do. I don't think you have to promote at 15% or whatever they're recommending, but I do think you have to play their game on some level. That's just my opinion. And it's only my opinion because the things that I sell would absolutely sit here and not sell if I didn't promote. And that, in my mind, is an absolute fact. Now, for what somebody else is selling, it may be totally different. It might be just wasted money thrown at selling an item. Honor Squad does about 200 a day. Biff Boffles is joining late and listing at 1.5 times. Don't do that. I sound like a chipmunk. Sherman says, tag your car parts like FAE on the part. You could. We have these stickers.
What is that?
These are little stickers. Now, what does it mean? It only confirms to you, like you put the sticker on a part, and if they return it and it doesn't have the sticker, it'll leave like a void on wherever they're pulling it off of.
Like Amazon stickers.
But then,
Those
okay,
things
so
are so
I guess the question is, then what? So you get a part back that doesn't have your sticker or your mark on it, and all it does is confirm to you that they swapped out your part, but eBay doesn't care. If you tell eBay, look, I marked it in a certain way, I got the black light and whatever, eBay is going to be like, well, we don't know if they sent you the right part back or not. We're not going to get involved. Gretchen says, you don't pay for promoted listings unless it sells, right? At least that's what I know so far. This has changed. Right, so for promoted listings standard, you don't pay unless that item sells. Now, promoted listings advanced, where you're paying for keywords in search and where your item pops up in search because of how much you're paying for a set of keywords, that you pay whether you make the sale or not. The Dibdit Golf Guy, when you say turn down the spigot, that's what I find fascinating. 100% true. They throttle traffic and sales. I'm more interested in the how, and thus try to mitigate, overcome if it's possible. So that's what I'm going to try to uncover if I can. I may gain an understanding of what's going on more so than I gain an answer as to how to increase my sales. Maybe I'm maxed out in the number of sales I'm getting because of the kind of items I'm selling. Yes, it is my items. I think if I had even better items, I wouldn't really even need to do half the work in looking into how to improve my sales. But because I do know that I'm not selling the best things, I'm not selling the worst things either, that I really got to put a little extra work into figuring things out. And if you want to come along on the ride on that, we're doing that every Thursday morning. We're launching that video. Beard says, let's change the channel name to Whining Ain't Easy. Wow. I don't know what to say about that. Lynn B says, I've stopped promoting and eBay has been pushing hard to get me to promote. Logged into the app earlier and actually got a pop-up to promote. I've actually been doing a lot better on Mercari. Yeah. I mean, Lynn, as long... Look, I'm not here to say, and this... I think I have to remind people a lot of this, but I'm not here to say, guys, I am the eBay shill, and I'm here to help their profits, and you need to be promoting. That's hopefully what you guys are not getting out of this conversation. I promise you that when I think that eBay is going to not allow me into to eBay Open, I say that half-heartedly joking, but I do think there's a small percentage, and it's a non-zero percentage, where they won't let me in the building because I've been so critical of eBay. So I'm not an eBay shill. I just say it how I see it, and I can't see it from other people's perspectives, only my own. Craig Landshark Picker, I only do whatever Scott does. I'm a sheep. Let's see here. Big Dre says, I've noticed the percentage of people using promoted listing varies category to category. It does, and if you can get a hold of the listing quality report, I know I talk about it, and it's like shouldn't talk about it if everyone doesn't have it, but that is an eye opener, and for some, it's going to show that you're promoting at a too high of a level. Landshark says, John said promote at 100% and you unlock sales. Yes, you unlock debt. You unlock debt at 100% if you do that. Derek W. Pat, sales have been rock solid for me this week. My average 7 a week. I'm already up 9 sales. Got my FA sale early today.
Woo!
Awesome. I'm the winner. Do a poll on how much people promote. None. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So, do you promote on eBay, and how much? And then, so what do you want me to say? It went down on me here, so let's go up to this. We got a little bit of time. We've got about a half an hour, so maybe we can make this work. So 1, none. So put none. And 2 is 1 to 5%. And I'll add a category here. And over 6%. But I don't promote. Okay, so let's start it. There's your poll. So there is a poll in the chat. Do you promote on eBay and how much? So I want to know what you guys think on that. Beard says, I don't listen to John. I'm not even going to thumbs up his show for his promise of a sale. Wow. Where's all the hate from Beard coming today? I thought we were friends. Henri Squaw says, I read something interesting about using white lettering so it's not visible to the eye, but it's visible to the AI scanners or algorithm to get more attention. Any thoughts? But will eBay pick that up as spamming? Because people can't see that, but eBay knows it's there. It's in the HTML coding of the item description. Todd says, I don't use promoted listings and I sell stuff. How funny that works. But again, I still think that if you did promote at a small level, you would see an uptick. It would even be even better, in my opinion. But that's just based on my own experiments and stuff. Yes, eBay does suck at advertising. They could do a lot better than that. Landshark, if you haven't done something, how do you know it wouldn't have a positive effect? That's my question. Now, I don't know if Todd has tried it and he just says, look, it's not that big of a difference.
Yes, he did. He told you.
Okay. I had no power internet for 2 days 2 weeks ago because of knockdown trees, says Troy. We have Big and Flipping Fine says, use those Reddit AIs that manipulated people to change their views. No, I don't want to use AI that way. Todd says, Beard, I have a storage unit because I can buy more stuff that I can list, not because I don't promote. Biff says, if you're willing to promote, you always had to assume you were going to pay that fee. Now it's close to a guarantee. And I was surprised last year when I was doing my own spreadsheet, going in and finding out what the cost breakdown or the breakdown from each sale was. And I'm like, wait, they're missing the promoted fees on this. And then I realized that, wow, about 25% of these listings don't even have a promoted fee. And then I kind of figured it out why that was happening, at least for my case. Yes, John watched Big Al's video. It was a load of crap. I agree. SCG Collectibles says, I used to be a seller on Dibdit, but left their group and as a seller because they don't let you promote any other marketplaces except ones that are part of their marketplace. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people feel that way, SCG, about us YouTube influencers. That's the way a lot of people feel. Troy says, hey Beard, we still never connected. I bought some stuff on your show, so go and check out his show. He's going to be doing it in about 30 minutes from now. Let's see, Sylvia's with us. Sylvia Ledford.
Hi,
nice
Sylvia.
to see you. Susan says, just put one of my items on auction because there are no others on eBay. So let's see how that turns out. I'd love to know how that turns out for you. Todd says, everyone, come witness Beard picking on elderly gentlemen tonight. Yes.
I think,
elderly hands.
Beard had to have a root canal.
He did.
He's had a...
So that brings out, whatever they gave him brings out the hate? Is that what it is?
He's being spiteful.
Hate your podcasting partners day. Mike G says, promoting listings is a necessary evil for sellers that don't have repeat buyers or sell oversaturated items. Hide items and repeatable sales don't need much promoting. I'm under 2% with 123 sales. There you go.
You can do it!
And I don't know.
Duncan, you can do it.
I don't know if I would classify what I sell as hot. So you probably have a lot better things than I do. And I'm fine with that. If I could pick up better stuff, I would. I'm dealing with the stuff that I can pick up. Craig says, true about how many are active buyers, but also applies to how many of the 18.3 million sellers are active too. Yeah.
Right.
But I think we're losing more buyers than sellers, I believe.
Yeah.
James says, I fired me today and hired AI instead. Now I just sit back and make cat calls at a computer program. Well, I mean, you've had your hands on that program and you've been making it work for you. So it's changed your processes from what I understand. So I think it's going to help a lot of people. That's what I think. Troy says, that's why I need your help. At best of all, I'm a mover, and I said I'll work for free to learn. Let's try to get caught up a little bit. I'm trying
Susan's
to catch up.
asking you a question.
How long did it take to get bids on your item on auction? I noticed on my first auction, it took I listed it that afternoon, and then by that night, I had the first bid.
Yeah.
A few hours, and then the next day I had multiple views and bids.
Yeah.
But it just depends on how much demand that item had. I didn't realize these patches, really, people were out there looking for them. Let's see what I have here. Trying to get Dragon Master finds Anthony. Only metric I give a flying F about is sell-through. I don't mind making $2 on an item if I know that I'm guaranteed to make it quickly. There you go. It's all about scoreboard, making those sales. Rad Relic says, I'm not a big fan of live selling, but if you are going to do it, might as well be on Whatnot or build a buyer base here on YouTube. I've sold thousands of dollars here on YouTube. Thanks, Dwayne Hale. Yes.
Yeah, no, that would not happen. Not for
Let's
us.
see. Trying to get through some. Sherman says, I thought I got a sale, but it was only at my doorbell. Got to change that tune.
Yeah.
And I am way behind, aren't I? About 30 minutes, even though I'm trying to get through.
Nothing new, honey.
Troy says, you can't resent those who sell you crap vintage as they promote it as vintage, and you didn't take the time to check before purchasing. Effort equals results. Yeah. Yeah. Andy wants the AI to go cut grass.
Yes. I want it to do laundry.
But they do have. I did sell parts for one of those lawnmowers that it's like a Roomba. It learns the map of your backyard, and it does the same thing like once a week or whatever you have it do. Landshark says, have considered a video on that very topic. Already have good bit of research done on some creators. On that
Dib thing?
Yeah. Would be interested in seeing that. Craig says, AI will not kill us through robots. AI will kill us by consuming all of the energy so that we can't use AC or heaters in severe weather. A lot of brownouts. They said that, I don't know, well, they said that it takes a lot of energy just to do a simple question to AI. To ask AI to look up something, it's like a lot of energy. I don't know exactly the amount, but it's a lot. Gretchen says, just give me a robot that can take pictures for my listings. That's going to be tough. It's just the manual part of reselling, I don't think you're ever going to be able to take the human side out of.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll look back on this video saying, oh man, they had robots that were that good that they were able to do it all for you. But in the foreseeable future, you're going to have to take photos of your items. Dragon Master Finds says, I wish eBay's AI was as good as ChatGPT's. Currently, if you want to use it for description, it just adds so much fluff and over repeats it. At least the more you tweak GPT, it starts to give good prompts. The difference between eBay's AI for your item description and ChatGPT is not even comparable. I think I did a little test a while back where I went into item specifics and just put garbage words like a broken screen and piece of crap as a term, and I filled all this stuff with nonsense, and then I ran the AI item description tool within eBay, and it took all the words that I used that were meaningless and put into a fluffy 2-paragraph item description that was just ridiculous. ChatGPT is going to find the information for you on other sites. So, Troy Elmer, AI will continue to improve thousands of times faster than we can and eventually weed out the false or untrue content. I think it's going to get a little bit better where it's not going to be making... I think AI is in a place where it's been in a place where it's making up answers when it can't find you a good answer. So it'll make something up and then you got to call it out on it. And it'll then refine their answer to give you the best answer it can. JRK 1964, Scott, are you doing Whatnot? Haven't seen you lately. I think he will be. I'm not sure though. James says, beat my record and still going for a number of listed items today. 350 listed items.
Holy shit.
On the road to 150,000 items. Yeah. Kenny, New York City 1 says, just learned about this, so this is a good move towards future for resellers. When do we have to report money amount compared to the IRS plan to the active president? I don't know. I think right now it's $5,000 is the cutoff. If you make anything more than $5,000 or $5,000 or more, you have to report it. Roman says, me and Derek still use notepads and write all memos in notepad with a pen and pencil along with all names of YouTube channels and people's phone numbers.
You're wasting a lot of time.
Yes. Beard says, I have to go live so John has somewhere to work and ignore us. I don't know what I did to you, buddy, but yeah, I didn't pull your tooth. Beard says, in my defense, I told you in the comment I wouldn't be here when you read it. Oh, great. Let's see. I'll just leave that there. John is sensitive tonight. Are you out of my doll? What do you mean I'm sensitive tonight?
He's not.
Wow. I'm just amazed at kind of how you're being tonight. That's kind of just it's just a surprising thing for me. Kenny says eBay definitely doesn't help your listings if you don't promote. They want their piece. Yes, they do. They're gonna make their money. They're gonna make their money, guys. Sherman says Kia Soul is a fugly car, especially the ones with that crazy looking curved black glass. Some people would beg to disagree. I've never cared for it, to be honest with you. Gail, what's the easiest way to get stickers and goo off of items? So there's two ways I would recommend doing it. A heat gun, a good one, and get that sticker, heat it up really well, and then you could just peel it off.
It peels right off.
Or goo, I like to use Goof Off. I don't have my... Oh, right there. They do not sponsor the channel, but I use this stuff. Just a little bit goes a long way, and this is not the same as... what is the other one? It's... you guys know it. It's the other orange stuff. It's a different kind of... Goof
Off and Goof...
Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, but this is the one I use, and it works great. I'm telling you. And when you sell liquidation, you come across more stickers than anyone else.
Oh my God. I literally take off hundreds of stickers a week.
Keith says, as I've said, it's up to John, as it is any content creator to put out what they want to. If you're fed up with AI like I am, you don't have to watch. Go visit a lot of the normal channels this week. Yeah, the way I look at it, though, Keith, is that I'm not going to actively try to ignore something that's relevant to a conversation. AI, you can despise it. I'm not saying you, but just in general, you could despise AI, and it could still be relevant. Goo Gone. So I would be doing it.
It's not funny.
It's sort of like people who were sick of me talking about promoted listings. I mean, but here, it was important to talk about at the time. So I'm going to do the best that I can not to oversaturate the topic, but to ignore it altogether, I think would be kind of a mistake to do. I think there's people who really want to know about it. I'm trying to get through some new comments and to catch up a little bit. I'm catching up somewhat. Not great, but doing my best. It's not easy when you get a lot of comments. You Lose on the Winner says, why so many trolls, aka Beard, on here? I prefer someone being honest and real versus many other YouTube who are only about the clickbait. Well, I appreciate that. I'm going to just tell you how I feel from my perspective. Unfortunately, some people are going to have a different take. And that's cool too. It doesn't make me a jerk. Doesn't make the person with the different take a jerk. It's just we have different perspectives. I'm not trying to piss people off when I do these lives. I'm really not. Troy says, I promote 7% across the board. Some listing it hurts, but it evens out. It doesn't unlock debt because I never borrow before I ever owe. Yeah, never go into debt for reselling. Kenny says, sometimes you can promote one item for 12% to get the interested party to view your page, like you sell lottos in store and people buy other things in the store. That's a strategy. I'd say that's more of a niche strategy. For me, I just don't sell much within a niche. I sell everything. Duncan, I got my sale, but 10 returns, 59 ads, 25 cicadas, there's that word again, and 100 cricks and no KFC. Well, thank you, Duncan. I appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. I'll try to get through here. VP saying we talk too much about AIs, like people in the 90s saying, stop talking about the internet. Maybe do a poll. How many of the complainers actually use AI or learn about it? This convo matters. How many people in the 90s were like, that damn Al Gore and his internet?
Or the year 2000 when the computers were all supposed to like crash.
Yeah.
Going from 1999 to 2000.
These kids these days, they don't even know how to read a book anymore. They're just now on the internet, on their bulletin boards and their CompUSA and their AOL. Big and flippin' finds. eBay needs to use the AI to get people to think of eBay over Amazon is what I meant. They need to do something. They need to do something, and they have enough people in those boardrooms to figure it out.
I'm sure they could certainly throw a commercial or two together that could go out on all of the streaming services.
Susan sets her alarm to then go in and hit the bids there. Ping G says, I resisted promoting and then started promoting most of my listings starting September 22. My sales did increase. There you go. And I apologize because this chat keeps jumping on me here. It is the way I have it set up, but I'm trying my best. Troy says, no matter how many buyers we lose, even more are growing up and entering the buyer's market. Yeah. But when they enter the buyer's market, are they thinking of the trendy places first over eBay? That's the problem. Maybe eBay needs to do a better job of doing ad spots on programs that like teenagers, high school kids would frequent.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they would put it on I mean, don't get me wrong. I have seen eBay commercials on streaming services, but they need more of it. They need more airtime.
Kenny's using ChatGPT's AI to create itself for me on my own server. Derek says, ever since I started selling on eBay, I've convinced a lot of my family members on going to eBay to buy. They love eBay now, but if it weren't for you, they wouldn't even have known about eBay. Right. That's the thing that's concerning. How do you get people who wouldn't otherwise think of eBay to start thinking about eBay? Yeah. Like they did in the early 2000, 2000 to 2015, 2010. Craig says, I don't care if others promote or not. I know for a fact that I sell more if I promote. End of story. And my message for everyone out there is don't promote. Don't. Especially if you're selling in my category, don't promote. Don't promote, please. That way I can lower my promoted rate and I can get the top rankings. Let's see. Troy says, live selling in Asia is over 10 times what it is here. We're in the adolescent stage of maturing. It's an exciting new frontier. We still have to proceed with caution to learn.
I hate live selling.
Well, you say that now, but it could be a part of things down the road. Just like live selling. We kept talking about live selling a couple months ago. Was kind of all we talked about on the Profit Playbook podcast. We still talk about it, but I think it's going to be even more popular in a few years. Dragon Master finds. Anthony got a sale. That's awesome.
Yay!
Craig says some people also say end and sell somewhere as no impact, so they don't do it. Sounds like you're lost, proven that it increases my sales. Mm-hmm. But everyone's going to do what they feel is going to work, and hopefully they're taking that off of data and not just, well, I don't want to do this process every day. It's a waste of time. I'd rather do something else, so therefore I'm not going to do it. If you've tried it and you've given it enough opportunity to know if it works or not, then don't do it. But for me, it's part of my daily routine. Let's see. This mouse keeps doing this to me here. Let's see. John Red Relic says John is the nicest guy, and I think some of you a-hole know you can be whatever kind of way, and he just takes it. Grow up and stop telling him how to run a show. I'm fine with it. Look, I it is what it is. It is what it is. Keith says, what I found is John and Jenna keeps it real. Yes, there's AI talk, but John does mix it up with content and sometimes lets the chat control where the live goes, whether it's AI promoted. Yeah, I mean, people do have a lot of questions and apprehension about things that are going to happen. Like, there's a storm coming. Is it something I need to prepare for, or is it not going to be a big deal? There's people who want to know, and that's what it's about. Once we get it, I think it's going to be boring to everyone. Once it becomes ingrained into our daily eBay lives, people are not going to want to talk about it anymore. Right. Let's see. Troy says, that's why when my stepson moves back, I'm putting him in charge of my social media. That's child abuse, actually. Roman says, Derek, I declare war on AI and proclaim John Rad Relics as my general of human armed forces in charge. Christopher Nutter, John, I had a suggestion. Maybe pull up on topics, let the viewers pick. Maybe it keeps the trolls away from Monday's lives. So, we could come out and say, if you guys ever have a question or, you're curious, like, how does everyone else feel about a certain topic that's, of course, reselling related, I'll be glad to share it. Now, this particular poll that we were asked to do you promote on eBay and how much?
Can you click on the 3
Click on
arrows
this? What does that do?
to see if it goes?
It doesn't do anything. It drops something else down at the bottom.
Oh.
So, I don't know if you guys want... I'm going to end the poll so you guys can see it in the chat.
Well, all they have to do is click on it.
But we had 21%... What is it? 21%... Can you read it for me? Because it's off my screen now.
It's 1 to 5%, 46%. Over 6%, 33%. I don't promote at all, 20%.
We had 63 people that voted in that poll. Philip Malloy, before you promote listings, they need to be optimized. That means all item specifics completed as a basic. There's a service called Boost Analytics that auto-fixes your inventory with AI. Seems to be okay. Yeah, you got a lot of programs that are going to start popping up. The listers that are coming up, they're going to give the AI instructions on how to handle that. Either promote, fill in all the boxes, only a couple of the relevant boxes. I would just say, look, if AI is going to do all the work for you, you might as well have it do a complete job, and just run it overnight while you're sleeping. Troy says the younger generation can teach us from their perspective and reach their market. Yeah. Let's see. I'll get through the Roman talk here. Lynn says, I tried promoted listings for a few months, but it didn't make much difference. I've been promoting on Mercari and send offers to likers. Sold a lot of 5 books that I had to go and delist on eBay. There you go. Mm-hmm. As long as you're delisting it, don't get that defect, though. Yeah. Big Dre says, I think eBay doesn't bother with Gen Z because they're broke and the older population has money, already knows about eBay. But when you're broke and you need something, what a better place to go to buy it than eBay than to pay full retail for it. And if you know that that's there, kids are just starting on their own. They're buying secondhand stuff. They're getting old furniture for their apartments when they're moving out. I think eBay is the perfect thing to know about when you're young. Peddling Profit says this year so far, organic sales 31.4% and up 99.5% of total sales. Seller initiated offers 38% up and 14% of total sales. Sales without offers 19.3% up for the year. We will try AI, but in our business, not going to promote unless something drastically changes. Trial and error, guys. I'm telling you. And if you do notice an uptick in sales due to promoted listings, I think it's a mistake to go. That's just my opinion. It's a mistake to go back. If you don't notice a difference, then it's a mistake to promote. Daisy says, Jenna, you're already on camera. It should be easy peasy for you to start live selling. It's something I want to try, but I'm camera shy. I don't think it has anything to do with the camera or anything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's more about the sourcing side.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I just don't. I just want to get on, buy what I'm going to buy, and I'm done. I don't like staying in...
Got my sale, guys. Got my sale.
You got your sale.
Yeah, got my sale. Hit that like button.
So did I. Nobody cheered for me.
Well, cheer. Darn it. Troy says, my website could evolve to be a cross between classroom education by and for resellers as a live selling presentation of individual items. So I'm curious when you're going to do that. I know you've been talking about that. Craig Wyness says, eBay strength is old/used items, while Amazon strength is new items. Mm-hmm. They really aren't a big competition to each other, even though you can sell new on eBay and you can sell used on Amazon. But I guess the perception, what they're known for. Lynn says, if you promote on Mercari, all you do is lower the price by a percentage, so it's like running a sale.
Yeah.
Joshua Hill, he's with us, says, I started selling on eBay 3 months ago. Just hit top reseller today. You need to do promoted listings as well as sell hot items. 305 items first 3 months. I started when I lost my job.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
Very good, Josh.
Awesome. Well, we're just here to share our experience. Thanks for being a part of the journey, and thanks for sharing with us. But you did the hard work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of well-intended people that want to do it, but there's a difference between wanting to do it and actually getting out and doing it, and you're doing it. So that's good on you.
Yeah.
Troy says that the hard times coming will increase our sales. People look for deals more when times get tough. They do. And yeah. Joshua was also saying I was trying 10 to 15%. No sales, went 20% last week. 55 items sold in 1 week. eBay won't sell your stuff if you don't promote. But wow, 20%.
Whew.
I don't know if I'll venture that far.
Yeah.
But again, you got to find, if your margins allow you to, that means you're going to be forced to buy it even lower than the next guy for you to make it work. If you're paying top dollar for items, there's no way you're going to be able to do 20%. Chai says, here to hit the like button and get some more sales today. Well, hit that like button.
Yes.
Because
you can do it.
Yeah.
Duncan says, cheers for Jenna's sale. Which one of you had the highest sale? I had 60.
It was probably him.
$60 plus shipping, so I'm right around my ASP. She had an $11 sale.
Yeah.
So, but what?
Hey, I will take a sale. A sale is a sale.
Yeah, we're building up our stores. That's going to help. Now I'm lowering the number of items in her store temporarily, getting rid of those patches.
Because the patches took up most of them.
Yeah. Josh says, you guys helped me a lot on the background. You have no idea.
Aww.
You and many other resellers. Well, darn it.
Well, good.
$6.10 for a return on ad spend. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
awesome. So, guys, here's the deal. We're going to play an outro for you for our friend Dave Harrington. He's worked hard on this. Just a snippet of his eBay song that he made instead of the intro, the outro you're used to seeing with our channel. Head on over to Beard's channel. I believe he's going to be hanging out there. They might be talking about it a little bit more. But there's a link to his channel. I fixed it. It's in the description below. Go check out his channel, and he's going to be doing a lot of fun AI stuff, and he wanted you guys to know about it. So, dealing with eBay and some call it sneaky, just the way it's going to be. Just know it's going to happen. eBay is going to find ways to extract as much as they can until they can't. But dealing with that and accepting it and continuing to sell on the platform without it pissing you off is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. Want you guys to have an excellent weekend, and we will talk to you guys here very, very soon.
Have a great one, guys.
Take care.
Bar in my brain, eBay's looking twisted, nothing feels the same, margins bleed like oil, my listings disappear, AI scans my soul, whispering in my ear. Silicon shadow.